It was a stormy night. Rain hammered against the windows of a small roadside diner, the kind of place where weary travelers stopped for coffee and truckers found warmth before heading back onto the highway. Inside, Maria wiped down the counter, humming softly to herself. She had been a waitress there for years. The job didn't pay much, but she was proud of it. She believed every plate she served carried not just food, but care. As she looked around the nearly empty diner, her eyes fell on a table in the corner. 4 little girls sat huddled together, their clothes worn, their hair damp from the rain. They couldn't have been older than 12, with the youngest barely 5. Their big eyes darted nervously around the room, and their small hands clutched each other tightly. Maria approached them gently. "Hi, sweethearts. Are you waiting for someone?" One of the girls, the eldest, looked down at the floor and whispered, "No, we don't have anyone. We're just hungry." Maria felt her chest tighten. She didn't ask questions. She didn't need to. She saw the hollow look in their eyes, the kind that comes from nights without food. She simply smiled and said, "Wait right here." She went into the kitchen, ignoring the voice in her head that reminded her how tight money had been lately. Pulling out what she could, she cooked up warm meals, mac and cheese, chicken soup, fresh rolls, and a slice of pie for each of them. When she placed the plates down, the girls' faces lit up as though it were Christmas morning. They ate quickly, hungrily, but with shy smiles of gratitude. When they finished, Maria walked back with the checkbook out of habit. The girls shook their heads, embarrassed. We don't have anything to pay you." Maria knelt down beside them and smiled. "Then you pay me by promising to come back tomorrow. Deal?" The girls nodded eagerly, and from that day, they did come back. Night after night, week after week, Maria made sure there was food waiting. Sometimes she packed leftovers for them to take, sometimes she slipped them cookies she had saved from her own meal. The girls became like shadows in her life, always there, always hungry, always in need of someone who cared. Years passed. The diner's regulars noticed them too, and Maria covered for them whenever she could. If the manager asked why food costs were high, Maria would say, "Oh, must be the truckers eating more." She bore the burden quietly, never telling a soul what she was doing. The girls slowly grew taller, stronger, and even started helping around the diner, wiping tables, carrying dishes, folding napkins. They weren't just mouths to feed anymore. They were Maria's little helpers, her adopted family in a way. But life has a way of pulling people apart. One evening, Maria waited and waited, but the girls didn't come. She thought maybe they were sick, or late. The next night, they still didn't show up. And then the next. Slowly, Maria realized, they were gone. Her diner felt emptier without them. She still set extra plates sometimes, half expecting them to run through the door. But they never did. She prayed they had found a better life, maybe a family, maybe safety. But a piece of her heart always longed for them. 12 years later, Maria was locking up the diner after another long shift. The place had aged, just like her. Her hair had more streaks of gray, her hands more wrinkles from years of work. She sighed as she flipped off the lights, stepping out into the cool night air. That's when she saw it. A sleek black SUV pulled up slowly and parked right outside. The headlights glared across the empty parking lot, and Maria's heart skipped. She didn't recognize the vehicle. Who would be visiting her this late at night? The driver's door opened, then the back doors. Out stepped 4 young women, grown, confident, well-dressed. They stood under the glow of the diner's sign, smiling with tears in their eyes. Maria's breath caught in her throat. Her hands shook. She knew them instantly, even though they had changed. It was her girls. Before she could speak, they rushed toward her, surrounding her in a tight embrace. "Maria!" they cried, their voices breaking. Maria's eyes welled up. "Oh, my darlings, my girls, is it really you?" One of them, the eldest, nodded with tears streaming down her cheeks. "We never forgot you. You gave us food when we had nothing. You gave us hope when the world ignored us. You are the reason we survived." Another girl, now a young woman, added, "We've carried you in our hearts all these years. And we swore that when we made it, we'd come back for you." Maria held them close, sobbing. "I only did what any heart should do," she whispered. But then they took her hand and led her to the SUV. The trunk opened, revealing boxes, groceries, clothes, and an envelope. One of the women placed it in Maria's hands. With trembling fingers, she opened it. Inside was a deed, to a brand new house, bought in her name. Maria gasped. No, no, this is too much. But the girls shook their heads. No, it's not enough. You fed us for 10 years. You gave us life. Now it's our turn to take care of you. Maria broke down completely, crying into their arms. The little orphans she once fed had come back, not as hungry children, but as strong women ready to give back the love she had poured into them. That night, under the glow of the diner lights, Maria realized something profound: kindness is never wasted. When given freely, it comes back, sometimes years later, sometimes in ways far greater than we could ever imagine. And for Maria, the woman who had once saved 4 little girls, that kindness had returned in the form of family, love, and a future brighter than she had ever dreamed.